FunPop. FunPop.
Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, we have a surprise visitor coming, and it's not the man who's in the bathroom. It's another man who's on his way. Hello there. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is FunPop, episode 31. What is going on? It's good to be here with you all. Again, we didn't get to have the show last week because of sickness and stuff like that, but we're back this week. We got stuff to talk about. I'm excited 3-Bits here making an appearance because that gives us even extra stuff to talk about. And welcome by Jasper. Psychonauts is on his way. He just woke up, so I'm assuming he's got some morning duties, to do. And but hey, we'll get to, I guess, our guest in a way first. What's up, 3-Bit? What's up, dude?
Hello. I just finished teaching a class. I'm like, well, I got some time.
Heck yeah.
So I decided to drop in and talk some Marvel with you guys.
Yeah.
Like, always happy to talk Marvel and Spider-Man.
Yeah, looking forward to it, man. Yeah, dude. And you've seen Eternals, which you may be the only one of us that's seen that. So we get to ask you some questions about that as well.
Ooh.
So looking forward to that. So you just got done teaching some kiddos?
Yeah, it was a full class. So yeah. I literally, that's why when I first joined, you guys probably saw it said Art Academy.
Yeah.
I just switched it really quick. But yeah, just taught some kiddos. Glad to be on the FunPop again. It's always fun being on the show because I get to talk comic books and like usually we have like our different gaming podcasts, like Ultimate, and I'm on Factor and stuff like that, where we talk gaming news, and that's always fun, and I love games and talking gaming news. But I am a nerd at heart, love comic books, so anytime I get to talk about Spider-Man or anything Marvel or DC and how DC sucks sometimes, then I am always gonna try and make it if I can. But yeah, glad to be here. Jasper, awesome. You're awesome. Good to see you.
Yeah, and we do have Jasper as well. As you guys can see, he's here every week. We call him the realist. What's up, man?
Yeah, I took 3-Bits spot on this podcast, so it's always good to see him back.
Yep.
What's going on tonight, chat? Gonna talk Spider-Man, break down the trailer a little bit. Yeah. Get into it.
Yeah, this is 3-Bits favorite topic too. Like Spider-Man. He goes off. He gets triggered sometimes by the chat whenever Spider-Man comes up. I gotta fix my hat, my wife says, because it looks like a wrinkly condom, she said. So I'm gonna do that real quick. I could go no hat, or I could go hat. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Looks great. Do I look sharp? Do I look fly? What's up? Man, the Psychonauts must have went to go get some coffee too. When he said he just woke up and he'll be here soon, he's like doing the whole like morning shebang. Like
he's take a shower.
He's gotta go get a bagel. Like he's got to take a shower. He's going to go get, do the duty in the morning. He's got his whole thing. I don't blame him. If I woke up in the morning, last thing I'd want to do right away is jump on a 2-hour podcast. You know what that would be like, right? So, hey, everybody in the chat, thank you for joining this conversation. It's awesome to see you here. Crazy Louis Gaming, OG-NLG Mike, beautiful wife Kaitlin, hey, Phasma, Monster 530, Vic the Click. Everybody here, thank you so much for joining in. Back from Dead. Appreciate you all. I got a poll up about who wore it best. Who's the best Spider-Man ever? So I'm going to leave that up for a long time. And we're going to see where it goes. And finished with his morning activities. When I say morning, this man works at night, right? So it's morning for him. So it's not just like he's randomly waking up in the evening. He works night shift, so he's doing this before work. But hey, Psychonauts, what's up, dude? How's it going, man?
Good. How are you? Sorry. I was at my gas station getting cigarettes and coffee, and I was like, oh shit, it's Wednesday. I need to get back home.
Nice, dude. Heck yeah. I'm glad you made it, bro. We're gonna have some fun conversations. We got a poll in the chat about who is the best Spider-Man.
I voted the wrong thing.
Did you? You can't take back on a YouTube poll.
No.
Shoot. We'll know in our hearts who the real Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
We all know, right, chat?
I can't see like the results currently. All I know is that Andrew has 43%.
Yeah, it's a little surprising.
It is surprising. But we're gonna. I want to have as many votes as possible on that sucker. So, all right, guys. Speaking of Spider-Man, hey, we got a Spider-Man trailer yesterday, and this trailer, like I'm just gonna say it. Upon first watching, I was like, man, this looks like it's gonna be a mess, right? I watched it back like 5 or 6 times today, and I have changed my tune. The more I watch it, the more interesting it gets, right? So I want to get into what are our theories behind this trailer. What are we seeing? What do we think is going on? Does it excite you? So because 3-Bit's our guest because he left the show. We'll start with you, 3-Bit. Hey, 3-Bit, did you have a chance to watch the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer?
I've watched it many times, actually.
Yeah.
It's really good. The first trailer, it showed Doc Ock, and he said, hello, Peter, right? And then in this new one, he says, you're not Peter, which means that there's definitely a Spider-Man. Like, come on. That means there's definitely other Spider-Mans there. Because why would he say hello?
But they're
Peter?
all
the same scene.
They're all named.
Oh, unless he didn't know he was underneath the outfit.
Well, they're all
named. Do you know if it was
Peter
the same scene though?
Parker though.
Is it no the scene where he's on the bridge and he's like, hello, Peter. And I guess maybe actually I take it back. Maybe he attacks him. He doesn't know he's under the mask and all that. But we definitely know there's other Spider-Man because of Lizard getting punched in the face by an invisible
hold
force.
on now.
Hold on.
Y'all are not gonna go there. That little clip. Okay, I've watched that thing like 10 times in a row. All right, so the Brazil edit of the trailer is like 1 second longer than the other edit, right? And it shows Lizard Man going, However, what everybody has failed to mention when there's this conspiracy theory going on is that there's a building exploding right next to his face. That doesn't happen in the other second.
Under his face, okay? It's
okay,
more
if
under.
a building explodes next to your face, are you just gonna like keep on going? Or are you gonna go
What's Mav? What is causing this explosion?
But I'm thinking like it could just be like a rough like animation edit right now, like him reacting to like show like a concept of like how it would react, and then just like when they put out the final edit, it would like look more natural.
I don't know. It looks normal to me, man. Like there's a building exploding next to the guy's face, and like he flinches like that.
But it's like you have one. Think about it this way, Mav. If you don't want to think about it, where Lizard is just going like this out of nowhere because he's getting punched by a Spider-Man, fine.
An invisible Spider-Man.
And you have like one. You have one Spider-Man in this little part of the screen against 3 other villains. Like, come on, that has to be.
No, I think there's
all
more
3 of them
going. I think there's more going on, but I don't think they just erase Spider-Man. There's a building exploding next to his face. It would be more likely that it's Ant-Man because you can't see him, right? Like they're not going to edit out the Spider-Man there. Like
totally what they did it in the Civil War. Remember Civil War trailer? Like there was a little empty spot, and that was where Spider-Man was standing. Just saying. Saying. He could. Yep.
Why go watch again and pay attention to the building. It gets cut off, right? It gets cut off in the like American trailer or whatever. And then it's like an extra second in the Brazil trailer where the building actually like goes boom. Right? And that's when the Lizard Man reacts. Right. So I'm just saying
I did not see the Brazil one, but overall I thought the trailer was great. And I love talking conspiracy theories because there has to be the other Spider-Man in it just makes sense to me. You have all the Spider-Man villains. Why
Mhm.
not at some point introduce the actual
Well, we
Spider-Man?
know that I think there's more than one Spider-Man because there's
Tom Holland's the GOAT.
Yeah.
You don't need any more Spider-Man.
But
he
here's
can
the
just
thing.
handle all of his films.
What do you think of the black suit Spider-Man? Who is that?
Which version?
Well, there's one in this trailer that's a black suit Spider-Man.
I think it's weird. It's like an Iron Man / Doctor Strange type suit, and I think he made it so that he deals with something with the universe, like the different multiverses. Because you see in one part in the trailer, it has like the Doctor Strange type of like you know, when he makes the spells.
Did you see his neck in that same scene?
His neck? No.
He has a picture on his neck of people.
Oh.
And it's Jasper's like, that looks like a cell phone strapped to his chest. And it kind of does. It looks like a cell phone's like duct taped to his chest. And for me, at first glance, it looks like a picture of two people. And it's possible it's MJ and Ned. For me. That
makes sense to me. I have a feeling that maybe Mary Jane or someone is going to die in this film. I'm thinking Aunt May might die in this film. And the other Spider-Man are trying to prevent like Mary Jane
the
from
same
dying.
fate that they've experienced.
Yeah, like they're trying to break the cycle, I guess. I mean, I guess it didn't really happen with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
He just went emo and dumped MJ.
Yeah. Well, in this Spider-Man trailer, it seems like Tom Holland is trying to save these people, right?
The villains,
right? That's the way it comes across, is the way the words are spoken, and how Tom Holland's going against Doctor Strange's wishes with trying to get the box or the cube to try and do what he thinks is right, and to undo his mistake that he created at the beginning of this movie, probably, right? And so he's like, okay, I screwed this up, but at the same time, I can't doom them to their fate, because it's not like, I think he sympathizes with them at this point, because it shows that exchange between him and Doc Ock where they're going to talk. And I think he's going to like see some like humanness to them, because that's one thing with all the Spider-Man villains, is they all were like normal people that had weird things happen to them that kind of shifted them, right? And I think he's going to see that human aspect of them, and he's going to try and figure out a way to not doom them to their fate. But there's also, I think, more to this because of that picture with the black Spider-Man. I think the black Spider-Man is not Tom Holland. I think it's somebody else. And I think the black Spider-Man and the black Doctor Strange are here together from another realm to, with those villains, to potentially cause something else to happen. And maybe, just potentially, it involves, I don't know, maybe Gwen Stacy trying to bring her back. Or maybe that picture on the neck was Gwen Stacy. I can't tell.
That would be brutal if you like bring her back, but she can't stay or something. If they do that to me, I'll bawl. That was actually really.
I think there might be like a little team up with Doc Ock though, because it seemed like when Doc Ock saw that the Peter Parker that he was like trying to kill or whatever wasn't like his Peter Parker, he's like, oh shit, I need to like figure out what's going on here. And at the end of the original Spider-Man with him, he kind of like turns back to good. He like sacrifices himself to save New York or whatever.
Yeah, and then Green Goblin's technically dead. I mean, a lot of these villains are kind of dead already.
Yeah, so they're from a different, but we don't know where the timelines match up either, right? With this Spider-Man universe and those Spider-Man universes, maybe this is right before they're all supposed to go. Maybe the other Doctor Strange, the black suit Doctor Strange, and the black suit Spider-Man, who apparently is probably working with that Doctor Strange because he knows magic, right? With his wrist thingy that he did. He's got runes all over his suit. As you see his suit light up when he lights up those rings, his suit has like symbols all over it. He also has this weird wired circuitry going on. So it seems like he's either has his suit, like Jasper pointed out earlier to me, we're talking, either his suit is designed to stop these villains in case something happens.
Absorb electricity or something.
Yeah. Or the suit is designed to work with those villains, right? And also Doctor Strange. So I think all those people potentially could be working together to accomplish some kind of goal. And
There's
don't
also
know what it is.
a scene where he has like the nanotechnology that Iron Man had in the in game, where it's like the suit can change or whatever. So I'm wondering if his like suit's going to be like a smart suit where it like changes to based on like what villain he's fighting. Like the nanites just like change. I don't know.
And I'm curious what else, like, there's a lot of suits in this trailer. Like, there was like 4 or 5 Tom Holland suits.
Yeah. Which,
yeah,
are they all Tom Holland though in those suits?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Like, we see his traditional suit. We see his Iron Man-y suit, right? The Avenger suit. Then we see the other one that I kind of call the tweener, like with the white and stuff on it, you know? Like, but then we see the black suit. And I don't know who the black suit is.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be Tom with a modified suit from Doctor Strange and Iron Man, and he's doing it maybe to keep the gates open for whatever task they need to do. Like maybe he's trying to keep someone alive, and the reason why I'm saying that
send them back or
something. This based on the Spider-Verse movie and some comics. I'm just sort of basing off of what they could do with the script. Like, why else would he have that suit? And there's also that box that he is actually fighting Doctor Strange over throughout the trailer. And Doctor Strange's like, don't do it. And he's like, I'm gonna do it. So we don't really know why he wants that box necessarily. Maybe it's to keep the timeline open, so maybe he can fix Doc Ock or so. I don't really know why he would want to keep it open. Maybe he sees his Uncle Ben. Maybe we haven't seen Uncle Ben in his universe yet, Tom Holland. So maybe he sees a glimpse of Uncle Ben, and that's why he wants to keep it open, but it's causing havoc and it's getting worse and worse. That's just my theory, but it could be a lot of things. I'm gonna have to keep watching the trailer. I didn't see that necklace.
Just mentioned the script. I saw today where it came out that Tom Holland, like, and the writers and all that was like having to rewrite the script like every day of filming or something like that. And they're like, they didn't like it. Yeah, it was like, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, that could be worrying.
Yeah, that's like my first glance at the trailer when I was like, ooh, this looks like it's a little convoluted and all over the place. I hope it's not dumb and just made up as an excuse to have all these people in the movie.
Well, don't forget Tom Holland likes to spoil stuff too, so they're probably rewriting it just to keep him from accidentally saying something. So
or they just gave him the bad script. They gave him the terrible one.
Yeah. Imagine, I think we might see a 4th Spider-Man, and I think this will make Spider-Pig, very happy. No, not Spider-Pig. I think
you said that so might, confidently. It was great.
We
I was
might,
like, oh yeah, Spider-Pig. Yeah,
we might see Miles Morales. Just saying.
I was thinking maybe he could be the one in the black suit, Psycho. Like maybe
he was being interviewed somewhere, and he was saying, he's like, I don't want to be Spider-Man. If I'm Spider-Man when I'm 30 years old, I did something wrong. He's like, I would love to see a Miles Morales grace the screen. So, and we know Tom. He likes, he tends to accidentally say things when he's not really supposed to. So, you know, maybe we will.
And they did. I mean, the Tom Holland movies is the only movie that teased Miles Morales that I can think of. You know, that whole parking garage scene in the first Homecoming. So,
and this is the whole and this whole Tom Holland Spider-Verse. If you think about it, it's definitely an alternate universe because we have not seen Ben at all in his movies, and usually Ben's there. So could this be Aunt May never had was married? Because she is younger in this one. She's not older like the other.
Well, we know that he existed, like, because he in Far From Home, that was like he had Uncle Ben's briefcase, and they're like they mentioned it like briefly, like when he went to, where was that? Was that Paris? Where they?
He was all over Europe.
Okay.
Europe.
Okay.
I just remember they briefly mentioned the briefcase, or at least the briefcase had Uncle Ben or something on it. So they've just been mentioning him in passing. So if they want to add more layers to Tom Holland, because I will say, I do think Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man. I know you guys in chat have really bad opinions about this, and you can fight me over it. But I will say the one thing Tom Holland does need, his story does need, is more moments like in Uncle Ben, or going through some crazy things. I feel like he's been sort of scathing on just him growing up, which is fine, but he hasn't had that one moment, sort of like Toby when he gave up being Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2, because he was just done.
Well, I feel like his moment was the second Spider-Man where he went to Europe. He like gave Mysterio his glasses or whatever, and like gave Mysterio all the Tony Stark gear.
That was
a
cool moment for sure.
Yeah, he's like,
that is true.
He's like realized he made a mistake, and he's like, I got to fix this. And
then he ends up being revealed as Spider-Man. So yeah, that was true. I guess I'm just looking for
the romantic moment.
Yeah, maybe a romantic moment, or just something tragic. Like I feel like he hasn't been through it yet, but it looks like in this movie he's gonna be going through.
Oh, that looks like a redheaded woman, actually, not Zendaya.
That's what I was just looking at, man.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Is it Gwen Stacy? Is it like, could that be Gwen Stacy?
It looks like Mary Jane from Toby, kind of.
Okay,
it does.
Kirsten Dunst, Mary Jane.
Yeah,
it could be.
It could, yeah, because they just broke up.
What if that's Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy together? Like, I don't know. Like, it's crazy, dude. There's so many possibilities.
Yeah, that could be.
Oh yeah,
that could be Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man right there.
Yeah, that's definitely her.
See, at first glance, that looks like Mary Jane and Ned. But afterwards, I'm looking at it, thinking like, that's not Mary Jane and Ned.
That's gonna be so weird seeing like the movie, like all those different characters interact if they actually do that. Like seeing Mary Jane talk to the other Mary Jane, talk to Gwen, and then they could have that moment with Spider-Man with the memes where there's multiple Spider-Man, they all point at each other. They should definitely do that at some point. It's gonna be really interesting. Like they're all those movies have like different feelings, so it's gonna be.
I just thought of something. You know, like how Doctor Strange says you're gonna go have your Scooby-Doo moment or whatever it was, like in that trailer.
Mm-hmm.
What if that means, like, you know how Scooby-Doo, they're always unmasking people? What if they're trying to unmask,
I think it'd be unmasking the Black Spider-Man. See who it is.
Got it away with it.
If it like, hey, who's the Black Spider-Man? Because it seems like they keep showing that, and I pointed this out to Jasper earlier. In the Spider-Man No Way Home, at the end of the trailer, in the letters No Way Home, one of the O's has the Black Spider-Man face. I think that is the big mystery of this movie, and it's going to be the main focal point of this movie, is finding out who that is, what they're trying to accomplish, what they're doing, and what is the main goal, and trying to figure it out. And I think that Spider-Man is trying to accomplish something that may be important to them. That's why I went with the whole Gwen Stacy thing, because I was trying to think of what would, like, where we left off with the other Spider-Man, right? And the last time we saw Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was after Gwen Stacy just plummeted to her death. So what's like one motivating factor to do something absolutely crazy, right?
To save.
And so maybe in that universe, that Andrew Garfield ran into that Doctor Strange. You know, they saved the world and everything together, just like this one did, and stuff like that. And you know, they travel the multiverses and get help and stuff. And maybe that's his goal. And in exchange to those other villains, like, they are granted like life. They're granted the ability to stay alive because they were going to die, right? So maybe that's their benefit. They get to live. They get their help, and they're using their abilities to accomplish this goal of bringing back Gwen Stacy. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's a problem that they definitely would have to solve. Like, a lot of these people that we're seeing right now, the villains are dead.
Yeah.
the lizard is dead, as far as I know.
I think he like
or
disintegrated
is
into
he?
dust.
He went to prison or something, right?
I
Was he
thought like
alive?
they shot that cure into the air
Electro.
and like he fell apart into like skin cells, the lizard or whatever,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Lizard Man died.
Okay,
Green
so
Goblin
lizard
definitely
dead.
died.
Got
Green
stabbed
Goblin,
in the
he got
chest.
stabbed, so he's definitely dead.
What about Sandman? Did Sandman die? I
Sandman,
don't
no,
know.
he was alive, right?
I thought he
I
just
feel like
got
he just
put in the
faded.
water or something like that, didn't he?
He
like,
went into no, it was like he went to the sunset. I remember like him saying like he was like a good person or something at the end. He was like,
Yeah.
and he like faded away, but I don't remember why.
But this Sandman looks different. To me,
I mean,
at
that
least.
could just be like updated CG and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be a different actor who's gonna portray it, but it just looks like a different Sandman. But I think he went into the water as either. I think he either like dissipated, and he was so spread out, and it took him so long to get back together, possibly. And Electro was what, imprisoned, correct?
Yeah, I
think
think
he did.
so.
So
Yeah,
he was
and he's
imprisoned.
not blue anymore.
No, he has that. Did you see the star, electric
Yeah, he's
star on
they're
it?
going back to the old comic book version of him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that was kind of cool.
so
that's why I put the fishbowl back on him.
Vic
Yeah.
the Click just said something in the chat that I was like really, really smart because I forgot about this. And it makes me want to go back and watch the trailer just to see if there's any hint or clues. But Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man shot his webbing from his actual wrist. He didn't need web shooters, right? So if there's no web shooters on like the black Spider-Man, right? Or he's able to do it like that, then that means it's Tobey Maguire.
I mean, not necessarily. Technology, like the nanotechnology, could have gotten better and just
Maybe.
like
Yeah.
But
maybe.
Yeah,
back to that
there's a lot.
lizard punching scene, though, Mav.
Yeah.
Like there was a still that I was just looking at. It didn't look like the building was exploding. It was like Sandman coming through, but there was like nothing there, and like
Except for building
explosion.
debris flying at his face. There's like
but
there's
it
like
showed
a huge metal beam
it.
like going off right
It-
next to his face.
It showed it up close, like the still shot, like in sections, and there was nothing there other than his face going.
yeah. See, I'm thinking that could be like, you know how like in backgrounds you'll see like actors like fake punch someone and like the actor like you see they won't get hit but they'll still react. Like I'm wondering if it's just like something like that, but with like the animation they just like look, he's getting hit, but it's like so small that people won't notice. But then they did.
Well, they didn't show it in the US trailer. There was only the Brazil trailer.
Okay, here's the clip that we're referring to, everybody. So look at all the beams like going
right at his face.
right at his face.
Well, listen.
Yeah, but look,
why would Electro attack his own friend?
Well, the
You know?
Sandman's like huge. It's not Electro,
but
it's Sandman's fist going through the building and knocking all
There's
the
no beams
knocking all
ahead
the
of him.
But he's
beams and
not
stuff.
getting hit by anything near him.
Yeah, but wouldn't you
Yes.
flinch if a whole building like was flying at your face?
Flinch that
Not
hard.
if you're not like that. You'd be like a little bit. He's straight up.
I
like,
mean,
fuck,
There's just like
got clocked. He
I-
just
just,
like
you know.
punched him.
oh my gosh, guys, this is like
Yeah, but if you look at Lizard, he's like not even like trying to like punch anyone in front of him or anything. Like you feel like Lizard would be like trying to fight back whatever he gets.
yeah, he's not even looking directly at the Spider-Man above him. He's looking at someone else.
Yeah.
You know, his eye line doesn't match up to the other.
yeah,
Spider-Man.
I'm not saying that there's not somebody else there. I think obviously there's more stuff going on than we know about. But this image in itself, to me, just shows a guy going, "Oh shit, there's a building about to hit me."
Go back to it. It looks like Sandman is attacking our Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man. Lizard's probably
Electro.
going to be attacking the Andrew Spider-Man.
Yeah,
And then I bet you Electro or something, he's just there trying to make the scene look cool.
Or he's
But
fighting
Toby. I don't know where Toby would be though, unless
above him.
okay. Here's the
Fighting
thing.
Electro.
I have this nerd moment that I want to say really quick. I would
Nerd
love,
rant.
I would love to see Spider-Man's like all swinging together, and they use their webs to sort of like I don't know, like one leaves a web, like he's swinging, and then another Spider-Man grabs onto that web, and they're just going and doing their little Spider-Man thing. I want to see that, and I better see
They're
a
just trading off
montage
webbing?
moment. Yeah, they're just trading off different webs and just jumping off of each other and dodging bullets or whatever they're doing.
That would be
I need
funny.
to see that somewhere in the movie. Okay, nerd rant over. You may continue.
Okay, so the question is, I think more than anything, which Spider-Man is that?
That I don't know. It could be Toby. It could be Toby or Andrew. It could be either one.
I feel like in this scene, like it's gonna focus more on like Tom like trying to like do something to stop all the villains that like together, like maybe like put the box in them or some shit. I don't know. It's like I feel like the other two Spider-Men are gonna be like distractions for like Tom to do something.
I don't know what
So,
the
for
box
me,
is for.
The reaction is like instantaneous with the fist going through the building. Like,
What?
Bam, right there.
Yeah.
The fist goes through the building, he reacts. The fist goes through the building, he reacts.
Yeah, but his neck is being hit. His head is hit so hard, and there's nothing debris wise that hits him, man.
He's turning his head, like flinching
But
away.
not-
Like, how do you
That
know how?
is not a flinch. That is not a flinch.
How
That
would
is
you?
being
How
punched.
would you flinch if a building like in a huge sand fist
Not
was
that
coming
hard.
at you?
He's definitely
I
getting
would
hit by
block.
something.
I would
but
block the debris. That's my reaction.
That's
I'd be
some
like,
crazy reaction time. Just
It's a
all of a sudden be like,
lizard, man. How do you know? Like a lizard is
Like
not
that.
like
I
normal
don't know.
human and
he's human.
anatomy.
Come on,
I
man.
feel like what you need to focus on is like in front of him and see if you can see like any like artifacting from where they photoshopped whatever it's out. Like
There's
like, that's-
nothing. There's a building blowing up next to
It,
this.
either
it
really
really looks
good-
like he got hit
Right there,
by
right
like
there,
someone
right there.
punching
See
his entire
Oh, I
soul.
see it. That sand that's right in front of him.
He definitely
that.
gets wrecked by like Toby or someone.
Oh my
who just
gosh,
goes like,
guys!
whoosh.
I can't wait till
I
this
see it
movie
right
comes
there.
out. So like,
it's
hopefully
kind of
this
hard to
scene-
see like on the stream, but like you would need to look for like distortion in like the sand or the lighting in the background to see if there's like they cut anything out of that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
look,
they have
right,
pretty good
right when he
technology.
gets
They
hit,
could
the
just
lightning
get rid of it.
disappears. The lightning disappears right as he gets hit,
That-
right in front of him. It goes through, and then all of a sudden just disappears
This is
when he
like
gets hit.
the exact
it.
moment that he goes like this.
Yes, look,
It's
put
not.
it back,
Like, I just
put
did
it back.
Like,
Imagine a
Like, who
building
does
blowing
that?
up next to my face. I would if there
if
was
a building, all right, if a building blows up right next to me, I'm not just gonna move my neck. I'm gonna move like,
You're-
I'll be like, oh no, I'm gonna be
You
like
can
this.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
you're
be
blocking.
like, you know.
You can see Lizard's arm like reacting to the hit too. Like his arm like kind of swings up like he got hit.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god.
No,
No,
that's
No, he doesn't do that, man.
No, he definitely gets hit by either Toby or Andrew. My money,
Wait.
my money is on Andrew. I think Andrew hits his soul.
Hmm.
I don't know. It could be Toby. Like Toby is like I'm the older one. I got more. I got the emo Spider-Man in me. Let's do this.
It's the exact same time that the fist goes through the building that he reacts that way. It's a
But
See,
explain why the lightning.
and if you have
disappears.
All right,
criticism
Kate
over
wants to know
him,
what we're arguing about.
if you have criticism over his reaction, blame the CG team. Because like
Yeah.
they
Because they did a
got
good
rid
job
of
at
the other
making a
Spider-Man.
punch reaction. All right, put it on the screen again. Kaitlin doesn't know what we're talking about.
okay. They think that there's somebody cut out that's hitting Lizard Man.
and watch
This is
the
Lizard
lightning
Man.
in front of him when he gets hit.
I think it's just bad
disappears.
animation or CG or something.
It,
but
lightning doesn't just stay; it always disappears. So that when this fist goes through the building that he's clearly reacting to,
Well, he's
it's about
definitely
to hit
getting
him.
punched. How do you
look
make-
at his right hand. You can see when he gets hit, his right hand kind of swings up a little bit. Like
no, he's like, oh
He's like,
shit,
"Whoa."
and he like moves
no,
his arm.
it's because when you get hit, the momentum still like carries through your body.
There's not momentum coming from the fist in the building flying at him. Like it could be a
No,
big
that's
ass
not-
wind
it's not
gust.
even- He's not even getting hit by anything from the building. It's not
That's
even
not
near
how
him.
physics work.
Well, this is a CG,
and he's in midair.
These are artificial physics to begin with. These are artists recreating this moment, trying to create a reaction of him being like, "Oh shit, there's a building exploding behind me."
If I were to do a reaction, then I would animate him going more down, like he's just like, "Oh no," not like his neck getting completely.
If it didn't
around.
coincide exactly at the exact moment that the wrist of the fist, of Sandman goes through the building, then I'd be like, "You guys are onto something." If nothing else is happening, but he's literally right next to a building that
my God.
is shattering, and all of the debris is flying directly at him, and you expect him not to react.
All right, don't. It's behind him. Let's be clear.
Yeah, but it's flying towards him. Look
it.
at where the debris is headed. It's headed towards Lizard Man. I would be like, "Oh fuck!"
But he doesn't see it.
How do you know? You're not aware of a giant fist smashing through a building right next to
Not
you?
behind you.
Oh my gosh! You would hear that. You would hear it. It would be so loud.
So you think? Okay, so you think that this was a scene they directed this. They're just like, okay, we're gonna have Lizard and Sandman and one Spider-Man fly towards them, and then what Sandman's gonna do, he's gonna punch the debris, and Lizard's gonna get scared, so he's gonna start to dive down away from the debris.
How would you react if there was a giant sand fist in a building flying at your face?
Neck going like
you're in midair. You can't, like, how are you supposed to react? You're in midair, like jumping.
You curl up.
Yeah, you curl up into a ball.
Block,
I think he's jumping off the building in the first place because he realized the building's going to get destroyed.
Now I really want this movie to come out like now, so we could just like, can we get them an early release so we could just see?
He's like, "Oh shit, Sandman's behind me and he doesn't care. He's going to blow up this building that I'm standing on. I got to jump off. Oh no, it's caving in beside me now." Like, I don't know, guys.
Stop. No,
don't I just think it's a rough edit right now for that, and they put it in there.
I
think
just
bad animation.
I think, guys, I think there's just people looking way too much into that, honestly. Like, I'm just saying.
No, I think you're looking not too far into it, because dang, like, no one's neck in midair can.
It's an animation. It's fake. It's not real physics. He didn't actually get punched, right?
But
so
I don't think there's anyone hitting him. I just don't think there's he's flinching either. I don't know.
Here's the thing. I think
months.
There's more stuff going on. There's obviously other things going on that we don't know about. I just don't see that as an obvious thing of this invisible Spider-Man that they edited out, him punching him when there's a building exploding next to his face. Like, I don't know, guys.
All right. The movie comes out next month. This scene will come up. You will see another Spider-Man.
Watch him cut that scene out of the movie.
They're like, actually, we're gonna cut this.
It probably won't even be there. Yeah. Chat. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna settle this now. With the poll.
Let's clip this.
I'm gonna end the other poll. We're gonna get the results of who the best Spider-Man is. Yeah, exactly. Kate says, I mean, I know it's behind him, but anyone would be aware of something that massive and loud happening right behind them.
Yeah, I mean, your neck.
Also, you have to think.
Tom won.
You also have to think
correct answer.
That there's a giant Sandman behind you creating noise. It sounds like a tornado, and he's like, there's lightning behind you.
That's why he's jumping off the building in the first place, because he's trying to get off the building that Sandman is obviously consuming in his giant
scaffolding.
I would never, if I was a director, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, and Lizard gets scared from his lightning or from his
who would
sand.
Freak out
if I was directing this, I would be like, these three are gonna fight these three, and
I think y'all are underestimating a reaction of a building exploding next to you from a giant sand creature that is consuming
the sand creature
everything.
Is on the guy's side.
Does it look like he cares? Like, he's obviously destroying the building that Lizard Man was just standing on.
So you're saying he's basically betraying his teammate?
I'm thinking Sandman can't control himself. He's just a big giant sand thingy. That's
Why didn't Spider-Man flinch like that either then?
Because Spider-Man's going towards it. It's the debris goes
towards
the
Lizard debris
Man.
And the fist. He's going at it and not flinching.
Okay, I'm gonna bring
Lizard
it back.
Man's
I can't wait for it. All right, just remember this moment. You could clip it. I think it's a punch. Mav thinks that it is debris, which is so crazy to me. But apparently he
you can see the debris in the video. Like,
it's far away. It's not even near.
Far away. It doesn't hit him. It's a reaction.
It didn't even hit him. It's like it's still in the background, and he reacts like way
That's
too.
arguing for 45 minutes about a 1 second scene in the trailer.
Okay. So one thing, Spider-Man is flying towards the fist, trying to obviously knows what he's getting into. He's flying towards this on purpose.
Who reacts like that in midair? I want you guys to try this at home, jump and to try to react like that in midair and see what happens.
Yeah.
You probably
your
will
neck
not
like
react
that.
like you.
Oh,
you
no.
react with your-
Just like if you look at his hands are like the
It literally
momentum
looks like
like
he
carries
gets
through like he
punched.
gets
Like
hit.
he's going to
midair.
attack. His left arm goes up to attack. That's an attacking pose. That is not, oh no, there's shit coming at me pose. That is an attacking pose.
I don't see it, guys. I don't see this at all.
Now I definitely want to watch it. I'm gonna watch it day one.
Okay,
Before I
how
was thinking
much did
about not
Sony
watching it
pay
day one.
you? How much Sony paid you?
How much does Sony pay you, Matt? Oh man, I can't wait. And Kate, I didn't expect Kate to be wrong.
She's a
also.
woman of
She's
reason.
Usually right. She's usually very right, but Kate,
No, she
know
wants
this time.
she wants to agree with him.
No, she would
Oh,
throw me
man.
into the bus in a second, guys. Like,
oh man. Well, we'll
Okay,
see.
know what we're gonna talk about.
Oh, that's it.
You're
All right,
not
guys. Well,
insane.
thanks. I can't wait to watch this movie now. And
Okay.
that scene better be in the movie, by the way, Marvel. If you're watching that, that same scene better
Yeah.
be in the movie.
and Kate said, "Have you guys ever heard of reflexes?" Apparently
Oh my
not.
God.
They just think that Lizard Man's like impervious to this like thing, and they're just like, "Hey, I'm just
We
gonna
know
keep
that
going."
Let me
answer.
just reflex just with my neck instead of actually trying to dodge the debris. If I was actually trying to dodge the debris, I would move my whole body, not just my
Yeah.
neck.
Let me throw some balls at you, and then
Whoa.
you
Just be like,
move your
"Oh."
neck. It's like,
Here we go.
See? It's possible. Look, you can move your neck in the middle of the fucking air. It's.
I think
It's-
you all need to go watch
I-
someone get like knocked out in the UFC, like
I-
standing up. Like
I can only get 2 inches off the ground, and I can still fucking turn my neck in the middle of the air. Like, it's
but if
it's
things
possible.
are coming, you're gonna block it. That is natural reaction.
go watch
not
someone get knocked
moving
out,
their
and
neck.
then like it looks like that.
Oh god. Well,
I get you.
anyways, let's all
I'm
agree
just-
to disagree till the movie comes out. We do. Oh yeah, you have a poll. Awesome. It is.
Here's the thing.
No, it's not.
I'm just shocked that we have 75% fools on this panel right now. And, it's okay. It's all right. No. So,
We got ourselves
Okay,
another
so-
Forza situation.
another Forza situation. Oh, yeah. No, wait. Hell, I love Forza. Oh, you guys, come on. All right.
All right.
I
next
think we can
topic.
all agree that y'all are wrong, so we're going to move on from that topic. So,
Hey, no!
what? Oh, did I misunderstand? Okay, I'm sorry. All right. So after Lizard Man gets not hit by debris or not hit by a fist, and he like jumps out of the way, right? What else is here to see? Right? Like we got cell phone thing on chest. Very interesting. Gold and black suit, wiring, runes, right? Or is it circuitry?
Electro's new design, which is more like the comics, and
Yeah. See, I didn't
It's
like
not
the
green and
CG.
yellow,
think
but-
about it. I didn't like the CG either.
Yeah, it looked too fake.
But I'm sure when I watch it, it'll be fine. I never had a problem with any of the CG in other movies. Like, I thought it was fantastic, actually. The other
See,
movies. So.
Vic agrees. Thank you, Vic.
Physics, you cannot change your directory in midair with all that force. Come on, Mav. That's what I'm saying.
The
okay?
physics.
But you know what?
Physics
Let
don't.
Mav think this, and then
Okay.
he's gonna
Yeah.
watch the movie and just be like this in the seat because he's gonna
Yeah. He'd be
remember
like,
this
"Ah."
moment.
We're all gonna get a freaking a text like, oh, sorry guys, you're right.
Hey, shout out to Vic the Click for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it. He says, physics, you cannot change your directory in midair with all that force. Come on, Matt. Hold on now. Okay. You want to talk about
No,
physics?
here we go again.
You want to talk about physics? There's a giant sand creature, a sandman in the air, like all made of sand, just floating in space and time, destroying things. That's not really physically possible either.
Well, if you think about it, the static electricity could hold the sand
Well,
particles.
actually,
I'm just saying.
listen.
actually, we're made of
Mav
sand.
all right, buddy. Mav can be wrong once in a while, so we'll just give him this one. Yes. His neck moved like that just because there was debris.
No, it's a giant
refuse.
fist went through a building. Okay. All right, guys. So we'll see. We'll let comments after the fact, guys. I want to know. What do you think? Like, what do you think? Do you think that he got hit by an edited out Spider-Man? Or,
And people that are listening, there is a trailer. Mav will post the trailer in the comments so you guys can see what we're talking about and leave those comments for
they'll have to. Yeah, they'll see the trailer on the.
Just know Marvel
video.
has a history of doing this exact thing where they take a character out and they'll leave the scene almost the same. They'll just take a character out, and it looks like they took the character out and they forgot everything else.
Yeah, they had Hulk in for Endgame, but he was just in an Iron Man suit the whole time. So
yeah, I think that was due to some other issues potentially, but we'll see. We don't know.
Reasons.
I think that there's a lot of interesting things going on here, and I think that there's definitely more going on, and I think there is other Spider-Man. Right? I'm not ruling that out at all. In fact, I think there is. I'm just analyzing this one little clip and thinking people are looking too much.
Okay. All right, take that. All right, you see what he said.
Here we go again.
So you think there's other Spider-Man, and you think they wouldn't have the other Spider-Man in this epic finale with all three villains?
There would be
They
wouldn't even just choose that scene. They wouldn't even bother having to edit out the Spider-Man.
You think the other Spider-Man? They're not there yet. You think they just
choose clips that don't show the other Spider-Man, except for the black suit Spider-Man. They showed the black suit Spider-Man, which is a mystery. We don't know who that is. And we know that is a big part of the movie, like I said before, because at the end of the trailer, when it shows Spider-Man No Way Home, in the bottom, it shows the black suit Spider-Man face appear on one of the letters.
So you think Disney would waste that slow motion amazing moment and not have the other Spider-Man there too?
I don't think there was another Spider-Man in that moment. In that clip.
All right, we'll see.
I think off the screen,
that's a perfect time.
Potentially off the screen, potentially, but not right there.
And what are
There's
they
nothing
doing?
there
to chilling.
No, they're all fighting.
They're just sitting back, sipping on pina coladas.
I want to be clear here, and I'm on the record.
Tom.
I am not saying there's not another Spider-Man in this fight. I'm saying
you just think he's not reacting.
I think that what people are saying they're looking too much into that, because what I see is a guy reacting to a building exploding right behind him and a giant sand fist flying at his face. Like so for me, that is not the proof. I think that there's a lot going on, and I think that there is. I'm saying this again because I don't want y'all to be like, see, I told you there was another Spider-Man in that fight, Mav. See, I told you. I'm only talking about this little specific moment
where
Lizard Man gets hit by an invisible fist that they edited out. I don't think that's what that is. I think there could be a Spider-Man. Hey, I would even buy the fact that, hey, maybe he's jumping off that building towards another Spider-Man, right? That we can't see because he's off screen, right?
Or invisible.
Yeah.
I'm definitely watching this movie day one. Before I was like, maybe day 2, day 3. Now
we're gonna watch it day 1 because
we're gonna watch it day 1.
Sit there and point at them.
I will say what's interesting about it though is Lizard has more reach than Spider-Man. Like, how does Spider-Man get in that close and Lizard not grab the Spider-Man?
He went for a kick, maybe not a punch. Maybe he went a swing kick because you have more reach.
I can tell you, there ain't a Spider-Man.
Hits him with a bar or something. Or something. I don't know.
So, how many Spider-Man do we think is in this movie?
7.
There's.
You think there's 3?
Me, Toby,
4.
Andrew, Tom.
So who would be the fourth? Be another version of Tom?
Miles Morales.
Like Miles.
Miles Morales making his. I don't know if this would be the way to introduce Miles Morales for me.
I think they're gonna like at the end, like introduce if something happens to Tom's Spider-Man, like because they said Sony kind of pretty much wanted to move away from Tom, and what better way to introduce a Spider-Man to keep the Spider-Man like lineage going without doing the same old Peter Parker Spider-Man is bring Miles. Plus, it hinges with the video game, so it brings up more sales. But you know, that's weird.
Has anyone seen Venom yet?
No.
This?
I haven't had a chance to yet. Why have you?
But there's rumors that
it's just there's something that happens in that's kind of
Okay. Damn it, man. Okay. So now I gotta see. Dude, I've been wanting to see that movie anyway. I can't believe I haven't seen it yet. But I got sick and I didn't want to cough in the theaters and stuff. And it's like I haven't seen Eternals yet either for the same reason. That's but yeah, I think there's a lot of going here. I'll say that there's a possibility that there's 4. I don't know if this would be how I would introduce Miles Morales, because I think like the Miles Morales character deserves like more than just being a small part of this big movie. I would want him to be like his whole big thing, right? A whole movie dedicated to like Peter Parker passing the baton to Miles Morales type deal or something like that. You know what I mean?
I can't see them doing it though.
No, I could.
I could see them like teasing him in this one, and then he gets his own moment.
You think so? Yeah. Potentially.
I mean, they kind of did that with most characters. If you think about it, they will tease them in one movie, and then eventually they get their own.
Freaking Jasper's face when we're talking about this specific subject is making me very interested in
what.
In this subject. So
I was just looking at what Kaitlin put in the FunPop DMs.
Oh yeah. Made it a gif.
What, did she put the
Mav jumping around?
What?
She clipped it. She made a gif.
She made a gif. Okay, great. Hey, thanks, babe. Love you. Gosh, I'm gonna have to go.
Let you clip it so fast.
I didn't see the second jump.
And even then, your neck didn't respond like lizards. I'm just saying.
No, the second one, clearly my neck responds exactly like lizard man. Like I'm just saying, guys. Look, I was able to turn my head midair. It's like it's possible. Does it look like I got punched? Okay. Let's.
No, not at all. Not with that. Not with the same momentum as Lizard, but we'll move on.
Thanks for
overall great trailer,
babe. Yeah, great trailer.
Great trailer. I liked.
Here's Kate.
I hope. Okay, this is one thing I will say. Because Mav initially he said that he was worried about the story, and there's 2 things I'm worried about. I am worried about certain aspects of the story, and I am worried about how heavily involved Doctor Strange is. Because I feel like these Marvel movies with Tom Holland have been awesome. I love all of them, but they do rely on
other characters,
not Spider-Man. They rely on his history with Iron Man. And this one, it seems like
the second one was more focused on him.
Yeah, but even then, he had those moments where it's like he's looking towards Iron Man poster. It's like his glasses, right, in the bus. When he gets the suit, he's like reminded of Robert Downey's character. I don't know. He's like very much reliant on other people in certain aspects of important parts of the story, I would say, where he starts to become his own. He looks towards like his mentors. So I would say even in this one, it seems like his new mentor sort of person is Doctor Strange. So I just hope it's not too much. And the other thing I'm worried about is whenever you put a bunch of villains in a Spider-Man story, history shows it usually doesn't end very well.
Sometimes there's too much stuff
Spider-Man
going on.
3.
Yeah. I know what the biggest
emo
complaint
Spider-Man
was.
Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, when they added Electro and Goblin and all this stuff, that didn't end very well. I mean, people do like aspects of that movie. I love Gwen Stacy and their chemistry and stuff like that in the second one. But usually when you add a bunch of villains, it does make it harder to do the story. Now, I do trust Marvel because they literally have handled probably the most characters I've seen in a movie, and they've done it somehow very well, like with the Avengers movies and stuff like that. So it can be done. It's just very hard. So we'll see how they handle it with Spider-Man, with the 3 different Spider-Mans, possibly, most likely, and then the villains as well.
I just think with at least with this movie, how the story plot is going to take part. That's why they're emphasizing so much with Doctor Strange, because of the multiverse, and possibly whatever the spell that he did created these open portals for the villains to come through. If the villains come through and they're alive, so that means it's a different timeline, like at a different point in time.
Yeah. And
then we're gonna see those Spider-Mans. You can't have their villains into this and Tom's Spideyverse without having those Spider-Mans. It just can't happen.
If we're going back before they died, for Green Goblin example, that means they have to be returned to their timeline to fix the time problems that they would cause if they left their timeline early. So they have to be returned somehow too.
Unless he takes them right as they were supposedly killed, right? Right at the end,
Possibly could see,
maybe as he's drowning, he gets sucked into the portal or something.
Or let's say Green Goblin, he's able to
just before that.
Do something.
Scooter.
Didn't you see Green Goblin get buried? They went to his funeral, didn't they?
But Doctor Strange could have done a thing hey, put a hologram spelly thing on him, replace him with a dead body, and make his face look different. They could. Doctor Strange is capable of many things, and this black suit Doctor Strange—that's the interesting thing to me, because we see 2 Doctor Strange versions, and I think one of them is there to bring everything in. The one that's standing on the building at the end without the cape and stuff. He's just kind of looking around like this. And then there's the Doctor Strange is like, I can't stop it. They're coming through. So I think there's 2 different Doctor Stranges. I think 2 different.
Because he wants to kill the villains. He wants to kill them. They need to end, pretty much.
I think that's the good Doctor Strange saying that.
No, because the good Doctor Strange says he never wants to kill anybody. He became a doctor to save lives, so he wouldn't kill anyone. He would just try to take them back to their timeline. So this could be evil Doctor Strange that is saying they need to die, and then this Tom Spider-Man is trying to save them. Yeah, he says it in the movie.
I think
he also throws people into the middle of the Sahara Desert in the movie too. It's that person's dead.
Well, yeah, and I think also he made his version of killing them is sending them back to their own fate and sending them back to their timeline.
Yeah,
and I think
he's not responsible for it. It's natural.
He's putting things back in their place, which is what
correcting the timeline.
His goal is to keep the timeline in order, right? So I think he's trying to put them back where they belong. And I think the other Doctor Strange and the black suit Spider-Man are there to try and use them in some kind of way, right? And offering them some kind of redemption or something. So but it may mess up the timeline and stuff, and it ruin their fate, which has consequences according to the red.
What if the low-key situation with the universe basically getting screwed up somehow created?
Yeah, they could be variants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe they're variants.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Because that would basically kill that whole argument we just had.
Yeah,
the whole of them dying. They're just variants. then they don't need to.
Yeah, and you remember how you hide a variant is like right before their time is up anyway. You know what I mean? Like that's when you take them because then the order doesn't get messed up, right? So it just seems like there's a lot of possibilities with this, and I think that there's going to be a lot of like questions like who's right, who's wrong in this type of movie.
Is there invisible Spider-Man? Is there not one? You know, like...
Yeah, but I think I agree with Jasper though on that thing. Like I think that like from where I came with the trailer, the way the voice is coming across was the red Spider-Man or the red Doctor Strange being like, hey, they need to go, they have to face their fate or whatever. You know, it's their fate, right? It's their fate. He didn't say I gotta kill them, right? And I think that's where like protecting the timeline, which was one of his as the
time or whatever.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the main people that's protected. That's his job. You know what I mean? So, it seems like this whole thing is why he's involved. But I'm curious about the ramifications and if he will end up making that decision at the end, because you know Peter Parker has got the good heart, you know, and he's trying to do the right thing, what he thinks is, you know, so it's going to be a conflict there. And you can see the conflict in the trailer where Spider-Man's trying to get the cube. Doctor Strange doesn't want him to have the cube, right? Doctor Strange is chasing after Spider-Man in the trailer. He even like punches his soul out of his body, right? He dives down to the city into where the city becomes like a deep hole and he's diving after Peter Parker. Peter Parker has the cube in his hand. You see Spider-Man shoot the webbing and steal the cube from Doctor Strange as well. You know, like, so there's a lot of things in here that lead to where, hey, there's going to be a conflict. And I think there's going to be like, he doesn't know whose side to choose, right? And it's going to be interesting to see how it all turns out. That's all the stuff that where my first concerns 3-bit. Like when I put it in the DM was like, hey, man, this seems like, I hope it's not just an excuse to have all these characters in the movie, like from Sony. You know what I mean?
It kind of is, but I don't mind it.
But after digging in and seeing all these little things, you know, like the black suit Spider-Man, and really seeing the thing on his chest and you know, and seeing all these other little clues and nuggets and stuff, and it's like, okay, this is getting really interesting, you know.
Yeah, I'd be more concerned if it was DC.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah,
like because DC, they be coming out with those cool trailers, and you watch the movie, and it's not always what it appears. Okay, I will say Suicide Squad was pretty decent, and
the first one or the second one?
The second one,
okay.
Not the first one. First one was terrible in my opinion, but I think Matt, maybe you like it. I don't know, but it felt like a long edited trailer.
I like Solcon's comment, Spider-Man 2099.
I was thinking about that, but I'm like, I'm just wondering how they're gonna do this movie. Which is like, it's good that we watched this trailer and we still have a bunch of questions. Like, yes, some stuff was leaked, that you could probably look up, but like, I still don't know how they're gonna do certain things. I don't know what the box is necessarily for. Is it to close the portal? Is it to maybe it has certain people that are alive and he wants to keep them alive, so he's trying to keep it? Or I don't really know how they get to certain places. Like, how do the villains find Spider-Man, or what happens with Mary Jane, and why is he sitting in the rain crying? Why is Mary what's going to happen with Aunt May? Is she going to die? I don't really know how they get to certain parts of the story, and that's going to be the interesting part.
Whatever the box is, I mean, it was enough that freaking Doctor Strange astral projected Spider-Man, Tom Holland, out of his body to keep him from taking it. So whatever it is, you know, so either it's to trap him in like forever, keep them from escaping, to be able to put him back in their timeline, or something, because he says he has to save the villains. So, you know, what it is, you know, we don't know what the plot is until we, you know, go watch the movie. But
Oh.
they could, because just like Jasper brought it up months ago, because he made a good point. Like the point when Doctor Strange and Tom were there to do the spell, that was probably the same time frame as when in Loki, where the timeline fractured, and that's why the spell went wrong. But they think it was them, but it was that event in Loki that triggered this. It opened up all these timelines. Now,
I
could
will
we
say
also
though,
see Venom as
at
well?
the end of the trailer, you see more of that like purple clouds, kind of like how it showed it in the time continuum where they're at the end of Loki. So like maybe the time fracture's there. So I don't know. That's why I can't put him back in the box.
Maybe. The other thing is like I keep going back to the thing on the chest, right? And like what kind of event would make even Peter Parker be like, okay, I can't, like Tom Holland's Peter Parker, say, okay, I can't send these guys back to their fate. Maybe Doc Ock tells him something, and the other Spider-Man, like, that's the reason he has the thing on the chest, like, to show, like, maybe it does have something to do with, okay, something's gonna happen. You need to save Mary Jane. The same fate happened to my Mary Jane, Kirsten Dunst, and let's say like the same fate happened to Gwen Stacy, because there's a lot of parallels between this Mary Jane falling off the building and then Gwen Stacy, how she fell, right? And I think they kind of even make that clear in the trailer.
My problem with that though is like, if that's Mary Jane on his chest from the Toby movies, I don't think Toby would be wearing a black suit again, because that's just like, oh, we forget about the black suit Spider-Man episode 3. Like, right. I don't see like Toby going back to a black suit.
That would be funny though. Like if he pulls his mask off and he's got the emo hair and stuff again, and he's like
she broke my heart. I'm depressed now.
But like, what if it's like okay, saving this Mary Jane will break the, like you said, break the chain. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or like something, and that's like a key, and maybe he needs them for this whatever reason. I don't know. It seemed like it was alluded to in this trailer for a reason, potentially. What are you saying, Psycho?
I was going to say, just it could be, the black suit could be like the electro-conductive like suit, so this way he doesn't get affected so much by the electrical blast.
That's what I was saying.
It could be that.
If you were to work with somebody, you would need something like that, right?
Yeah. There's a power station like in the background, and Electro's in the background when they show that black suit and Doctor Strange thing on his arm. So
yeah, and then that Spider-Man, the black suit Spider-Man with Electro behind him, is facing the other way. It's like he didn't even care that Electro's behind him doing that. He's like there, and it seems like he's with Electro, right?
Yeah, you would think with Electro in the background, you'd hear that, like, and he would react or flinch or something.
Yeah, and he said he's like, hey, there's my dude back there doing his like old shocky thing, like he's making sparks and stuff. Hey, I'm gonna sit here and play defense with my phone on my chest, That's it's kind of weird. Anyway, hey, did you have a chance to see Eternals yet, Psycho?
No, I was going to see it this weekend, but I forgot.
Halo came out.
Yeah.
No, Saturday. I was going to go see it Saturday, and then I didn't go to bed till like late, so I woke up like freaking 9. I woke up late, and I was like, I'm not gonna go rush go see the movie. I wanted to go see it earlier in the day than later in the day. So try to get that $5 matinee price.
So one of us here has finally had a chance to see it.
Just weird, because usually I'm the last one. I just saw Shang-Chi like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Right.
So all right. So get just real quick, like give me a number score from you for Shang-Chi.
Oh, for Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
I'll give it a 8.5. I actually really like Shang-Chi. There's a lot of things I liked about it. I liked the characters, chemistry. I liked how influenced it was by martial arts. I'm a big fan of martial arts films, so for me, it hit that point. And just the way they introduce parts of the world and stuff like that would be in the books, but we haven't seen it on screen yet, was amazing. I thought that was it was the world and stuff was like really cool. So yeah, 8.5 for sure.
8.5.
And it had a good balance of humor. It wasn't like forced. It wasn't. It just felt Katie, or is it Kate or Katie? Shang-Chi's buddy.
Kate, I think.
Kate. Like she's just like her one-liners and low zingers were just great.
Yeah, that was cool. And this is the first time I've seen Marvel do this type of action also. Like the way he was fighting felt like a raid type movie. Like some of the moves he was doing was this very different from other Marvel movies in terms of the choreography.
The lady that played his aunt or whatever, like when she's fighting the Mandarin, right? In like the bamboo forest or whatever. And you know, just like it was he was nothing to her. It's crazy. Like she was he was like, oh shit, I can't do anything against her. You know, like that was crazy. So it shows where Shang-Chi's power comes from, right? And I think it's gonna be interesting seeing that go forward, because it isn't like only when he's there he has that power, right? So in order for him to really be everything, I know he has the 10 rings now, right? But like his full potential is only reached there, right? So I'm curious how they're gonna make that work.
Yeah, unless Wong teaches him how to
he has
harness
the rings
that
now.
Always.
Yeah, but the thing is he had both. Like he had the power that was brought from his mom, plus the rings. Where his dad only had the rings, but his mom was from there, so I can't remember the name of the place, but
Shiloh.
Whatever. Was it Shiloh? It wasn't Shiloh.
Tylo.
Tylo. Okay, I thought you said Shiloh.
Tylo.
It's Shiloh.
Yeah, I was like Shiloh. Like
that was the name of one of my dogs.
Yeah, I lived on a street named called Shiloh at one point. Like his dad was the rings, his mom was the natural gifts from being from Taylao. Is it Taylao?
Taylao? Yeah, something like that.
Taylao.
There you go. Sorry.
And I think that his full potential is reached if he can harness both. So I'm curious.
Yeah, because his mom went back or whatever because she didn't have his powers in the normal world.
Yeah, she lost her powers in the normal world too.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to see like if they can figure out a way to make him reach his full potential at some point in a future.
So I guess when he leaves the world, he just has the rings,
which still makes him a badass. You know what I mean? Like,
this is he ruled the world for 1,000 years.
Yeah,
just with that.
So the crazy thing is he was able to stop the rings without the rings because of his abilities naturally, right? So he was naturally in Taylao more powerful than the rings, right? So that's like what makes me wonder, like, can they like bring it
unless
together?
Wong learns there's a spell or something in one of those books where he can harness the powers from Taylao while he's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like tap his inner strength with the help of the rings, and that's possibly what he's being taught, because that's what they do. So I think that's what why he went to wherever they are. I forget the name of.
But great movie overall. That was really good.
All right, so now you're the only one of us that has seen Eternals. Now this movie, like we talked about last FunPop episode 2 weeks ago, about how it's the worst critically reviewed Marvel, the MC, and not Marvel movie, but MCU movie, right? Where it has like a 47 on Rotten Tomatoes, but it has like a 80% from the users, and it has a very high disparity. In fact, the biggest disparity in a positive favor out of any. I think the only one we saw that was a bigger disparity was Captain Marvel, but it looked like that was because it was review bombed for some reason by users, because it was like crazy low on the user reviews. But other than that, like this was the only one that had a rotten score, on Rotten Tomatoes. Which doesn't mean like 47 doesn't mean the critics rated it 47. What it means is like more reviewers than not gave it a negative score, like below a 50% or whatever, right? So
it's
or a thumbs
average of all of them.
down or whatever, you know, it's the average of how many reviewers gave it negative, right? So do you agree with the critics or do you agree with the audience?
I'm in a mixture of both, and I'll say why.
Okay.
I think if you love superhero movies and you love the way maybe some characters use their powers in certain movies, you will love this film because they are all sort of gods and they all have like unique abilities. And in that aspect, I thought they did a really good job. The there is this one character on there. I'm trying not to spoil too much, but there's this one character on there. He is like the Superman sort of guy. You've seen him in the trailer. He's like flying around with the lasers. The way he fights is kind of like Man of Steel, and I haven't seen another movie sort of do it like that besides Man of Steel. Like the way Superman uses his powers was like pretty awesome in Man of Steel, and then I haven't seen another one like that. In Eternals, they kind of do that. They kind of
like these guys are like more powerful than we've seen before from
so the way they're using their powers on like the Superman level is awesome. So if you want to see that and you want to see how, if you were in the Marvel universe and you want to see how gods sort of like fight, then that's pretty cool. I will say the plot structure is where the critics are probably correct, because I was confused for a big portion of the movie. It took a while for things to click with me. I liked how it didn't feel necessarily like a Marvel film, and I know it's weird to say. At certain part, it felt more like DC sometimes, and it felt more like I don't know, more of like a cinematic type film. Like it didn't really always feel like that Marvel film. Like when I see Shang-Chi, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like a Marvel film. It has like this the formula of how the plot is structured with like a origin story. So some people didn't even like that about Shang-Chi. It's like, oh, this feels like a Marvel film. It feels formulaic and whatever. I loved it. But with Eternals, it feels very different from any other Marvel film I've seen, which is why you're going to get mixed reactions on this. You're going to be like, have people who really like this film or really think it's trash. And I can see why when you watch it, because the plot, it goes back in time, and the whole timeline thing, whenever you do timeline stuff in movies, usually people don't like that. I mean, that's a big portion why people didn't like Witcher, the show, because it dealt with different times and people were like, oh, I'm confused, and people have short attention spans nowadays and they don't like that stuff. So with Eternals, I can see the critics' point of view where the plot, I was confused. I liked the movie. I was confused on a big portion of it, just the way they did the plot. I'm like, why is this character doing this? What's going on? Why are we here? Like I had a lot of those moments. And that's where if I rated it like an 8 or something, I would dim it down just because of that. I thought some characters needed more time for sure. But it's weird. Like it is a family type movie. So think about that moment with Black Widow where they were all at like the dinner set. Just picture that dinner moment, but the whole movie. They try to make it a family type ordeal. I didn't always like some of their motivations. It didn't really always make sense to me, but it explores a part of Marvel that hasn't really been touched that much before. It's like the I don't even know what to call it, the outer space universe type of side of Marvel that we're just now sort of diving into. It dives into that. So if you are a superhero person, you love Marvel films, there are things that you will like about this film. Now, if you are just watching it and you're just like, I don't really care about the Marvel stuff, you can find some things funny. The movie's pretty funny, so you can find that, but the plot is it's kind of messy, I will say.
Yeah.
I think Mav, you'll like it. Jasper, I'm not sure you'll like it. Psycho, I think Psycho will definitely like it. So
sweet.
I'm just based on what I know about you guys. Because
So-
Mav, you tend to enjoy superhero movies in general.
Just
And
regardless.
Jasper, you really look at the plot of things sometimes, so you're like,
Yeah.
it kind of has a messy plot for sure.
Yeah.
And then Psycho, I think you'll enjoy the backstory of it. Like, I know all you guys, so I feel like
Is there any
you guys will
invisible
kinda-
spider people getting like punching any gods or anything in this?
No, but guys, the action in this movie is awesome.
Yeah.
I will
Awesome.
say that, especially towards the last bit of the movie, like awesome. I wish I could spoil it and say more, but
Yeah. So
I
what's your score?
Dang, that's hard. I will say it's a 7 for me. 6 it would be average, and I think it's a little bit above average.
What's your lowest Marvel movie?
Probably Thor: Dark World. That's
Oh,
probably
okay.
like a 5.
say.
Is this so?
Probably
This
like a
is better
5 or
than
4.
Thor: Dark World.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it
Like
is
Thor:
it
Dark
better
World, I
than-
watched it and I'm just like, I want it to go to sleep. This, I don't really want to go to sleep. There's some
Where does
interesting-
this sit with you compared to like Black Widow?
I would rate it the same,
Okay.
almost. There's things.
So
in
you're
Black Widow I'm
thinking like it's got some issues, but overall it's a good movie, and
Yeah.
so you're not thinking like 47.
yeah, like no, I don't
Right.
think it's that bad, but
Yeah.
like people have I've seen like people's reviews on it and stuff. They definitely have valid
Yeah.
critiques.
Well, that one of the
on, like,
main critiques I saw like permeate through, and we already on the last episode of FunPop we read through some of them, and like had like there was like in actually some reporters even went out of their way to like criticize other reviewers, which was like very astounding to me because they were saying like I don't understand because a lot of the reviews were criticizing it for being a superhero movie, right? Like where it was like, okay, this director, I forget her name off the top of my head, but they were really excited because she just won an Academy Award, but they felt like a Marvel like ruined her movie by making it too Marvelized and stuff. And
that's probably the different feeling that I got when watching it. When I was watching
Right.
it had like the cinematic shots, right, that you'll see in something like Dune. It had those moments where you're just like you could tell that the director's influence was very much in there. It had a lot of moments where it didn't feel like a Marvel type film for sure. But that's why I have my score still at 7, because I think it's different. And I actually liked a lot of aspects of it. The reason why it won't ever pass a 7, it'll either stay at 7 or go a little bit lower, is just because the plot was very it was like it had cool moments, but it was like I was confused for a lot of it, and that I can't make it an 8. There's no way it's an 8.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, 7
Did you
sounds
know?
like
7 is fair.
more realistic.
Did you know anything about the Eternals before you went into it?
Not really. I knew like a little bit. I didn't know much about the Eternals. The backstory that they did for the Eternals is really cool.
Do you think this
Again,
is going
there's
to?
aspects of it.
I know that supposedly there's like an end credit scene, and Psycho tried to ruin this for me last time. So we're not going to mention what it is, okay? But I will.
What are you talking about?
I'm going to ask: does this movie like set up some really interesting things that we're going to potentially see in the future?
Yeah.
So it's a very important movie, you would say.
It's high stakes in this movie.
Right.
Like you have literal gods fighting each other.
Yeah.
And it's like this whole new outlook on the Marvel universe for sure.
Right.
Like you wouldn't have thought about it like, oh, I didn't think about the Marvel universe like this. And that is addressed in this movie.
Originally, I think the Eternals were created to like give the Marvel universe a mythology, like how Norse mythology is to like us on Earth, like but this is like the Marvel's universe of like a mythology, like creating gods and beings that like created the universe and stuff.
Yeah, that is what it is. It basically kind of sets up thing. I'm trying so hard not to spoil. It sets up that like the mythology of the Marvel universe itself. That's why I can't rate it lower, because I think that in itself is really cool. And Marvel actually kind of needed a movie like that. They needed some movie where it kind of dove into
made everything make sense a little bit.
Yeah. So
right on. All right, so I'm excited. I'm more excited to see it now. You know, even with your critiques and stuff, it's like I think it's like, man, I really need to see this movie. We saw one other thing that I want to talk about before we wrap up the show. And that was during the Xbox 20th anniversary event. We got a glimpse, the first sneak peek at the Halo TV show. Now, it was only a few seconds long.
Didn't show much.
Didn't show much at all. But, and this is a big but, what I did see and heard gave me chills. It gave me goosebumps and let me know the direction very clearly of this show. And I'm extremely happy about this. So you see John's scarred back at the beginning of the trailer. Then you go into seeing him don his suit and his helmet, which looks like it was pretty badass how they created that helmet, how it was fitting, because it looked just like spot on. Then they go on to show the shot of Master Chief, and then you hear Cortana's voice speak to him. And then it cuts away, and then you just see Halo. That's all. Just Halo in the most classic OG Halo type way, with that simple logo, with the music. And it was making me think, we're going to be reliving the adventures of Halo and Halo 2 and Halo 3 potentially through this show. And from a different perspective, obviously. But man, like just the little instances that they showed got me excited. Did anybody else have the same reaction, or is it y'all like think I'm looking too much into this?
I mean, I'm biased because I love Halo so much. So like anything Halo, I'm just like, give it to me now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, it looked good. Like it just, I know it was just just a short clip teaser, but just to hear Cortana's voice and she's like, says, "Welcome back, Chief," or something along the lines, and it's just like, oh, yeah. So you could be correct that this could be that time where Chief gets Cortana, and so this could be in the time frame of
it has to take
Halo
place
1.
at least.
It has to take place after
start...
CE,
Yeah.
Okay, with Cortana being in there, it's going to be after. I was thinking before, but with now hearing Cortana, then it's definitely after CE. So it could be in between 1 and 2, because in 2 they come to Earth to Mubasa.
The only thing that makes sense to me, because like between 1 and 3 he's like super busy. Like the only thing that makes sense to me is after 4, because he's like doing missions with Blue Team, just like trying to find Cortana and stuff. But
I think they said it wasn't canon, so they can kind of
go anywhere.
They can kind of
if it's not canon, then they can do whatever they want.
Did they say that?
I thought I heard that somewhere.
I hope that's not true. Like I'm just saying, like I want it to matter. You know what I mean? Like it needs to be canon, in my opinion. Because like for me, if it's not canon, then like it's like what everything I'm watching is just like doesn't fucking matter.
But if you think about it, a lot of Halo's stories are told outside the games.
Yeah,
like
but they're all
Big
canon,
Theory.
right? Like, so if you want to learn that lore, and I mean, is there anything besides like fan fiction? Is there anything like from the books and the shows and stuff that we've seen that's not canon? Like,
I mean, they might have retconned something over the years that I'm not aware of, but
yeah, they've. That's a
I'm trying to think of it, like anything that they've made that's not canon.
Yeah, it's got to be canon. If it's not canon, that'd be like hell no. Like, it's got to be canon. Like, here's what I'm thinking.
I could have sworn I heard that somewhere. Yeah.
So the Halo TV show timeline. It's okay here. It says Halo's TV show won't debut till 2022, and when it does, it'll be on Paramount TV, Paramount Plus. Says they're going to be Spartans, with Master Chief taking his proper place as a central character. Cortana's along for the ride. And if we had to bet on it, there's going to be a Halo ring. We still don't know much about the plot, though. We do know Chief and Cortana are core to the series.
So that means it has to be before the end of 4 too, because Cortana goes away at the end of 4.
Yeah,
so it's between 1 and 4.
Yeah, and I think like it can't be between 3 and 4 because he's frozen in space.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like resting, right?
Yeah, he's
so
frozen
it's
for
got to
like 5
be
years.
between 1 and 3. So this is taking place between 1 and 3, and it's following those events, which is the main core, like original timeline, right? So this is, unless it's like at the beginning of 4, right? And shows some of that, but I think that why would they start then?
Yes,
you know, that'd be a really weird.
I think 4 is also going to be harder because I feel like the Prometheans would be like a pain in the ass to create.
Yeah,
and
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna basically go through Halo 1, and also do a bit of the Reach book where it goes into John's origin story as a kid and how he became a Spartan. So that way you
like
can
flashbacks.
explain why, with flashbacks or something. It just makes sense to do that because if you're introducing Halo to a whole new audience who doesn't know the story or anything, I wouldn't start at 4, wouldn't start at 3 necessarily. I would introduce aspects of Halo 2 and then kind of go with Halo Reach. Or the Reach book where it basically dives into him as a kid doing the whole Spartan program, how he's kidnapped as a kid, so that way new audiences can jump in and be like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that was his story. Because it kind of seems like, yes, they are catering to the fans and how accurate the suit is and the look of it. And I've seen leaked images of the aliens that looks exactly like Halo 2's prophets and stuff like that, which looks amazing.
See, that's what I want to see in live action is Chief jump on the prophet and just punch him to death.
Yeah. So I do think they would probably want to do that. They would probably want to introduce the origin of Master Chief before getting into like some of the other stuff. So that's why it's kind of beneficial to not do it canon.
Well, it is canon. So
it is canon.
It is canon.
Okay.
So you triggered me, so I had to go and like search for this stuff and see, like, because it has to be canon to me. This says, this is from cinemablend.com. Halo fans afraid the upcoming Showtime series would be nothing but a retelling of the events of the first game, or others in the franchise will be happy to hear that it appears that won't be the case. Back in August 2019, Showtime president Gary Levin told Deadline that while the Halo TV show will be faithful to the video game series canon, it will be exploring new drama within that universe. So
you said the Showtime president, is that when it was originally on Showtime?
It's still produced by Showtime.
They're owned by
Showtime.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
So it's same company and everything. It's going to be on Paramount Plus.
Now what happened between 1 and 2? Because I think, didn't he get refrozen at the end of 1?
No, at the end of 1, he's in a longsword and just flies off into space, and Cortana's like, this isn't the end of the fight or whatever. And it's like, he's like, we're just getting started. And then it ends.
Yeah, because I know, because it can't be like the end of 2, because he falls onto the planet at the beginning of 3 we saw. So it could be just it takes place what happens, in between. During 1, possibly.
Yeah,
before
that would make
2.
sense. Like, because he's just in a ship by himself at the end of 1. Like maybe he's trying to find where the rest of the UNSC's fleet is or something.
Yeah. So it could be that. It could definitely pick up from there or something. Tagged along around, 1 and 2. It could be where this story's taking place.
I don't see them do anything with the flood. So
not yet. Maybe at like the season finale, that
you hear like you see some tentacles or something. Yeah.
And you hear something, and then you just see the tentacles coming through a doorway, and you're like, what the fuck? And then it ends. And you're like, no.
I think it'll be too much.
Yeah, I think they need to start off a little slow, like how they did with the first game. Like you didn't find the flood till halfway through the game, so it's like.
I want there to be flood in Infinite. I really hope there's a flood. I think even in the books that's based off of Infinite, there was flood, so there should be flood.
I think they were in like stasis or whatever still, but weren't they?
It could very well be like Halo Wars. The banished. They brought the flood back during that time.
Yeah, they broke open High Charity.
So it could very well flood could be DLC, campaign that they're going to be, because it's an ongoing campaign. We're going to get it's chapters of a story. So we're going to get a beginning, middle, end. In this chapter that we're going to get, then the next DLC chapter could be focused on something else within on the ring.
Are we talking about the game or the show?
He is. Yeah.
The game, but I'm just saying that they can introduce the flood in that, like progressing through the story, and then either the season finale or whatever we can get teased. It could be like the second episode from the end, the very end. We can get teased the flood, and then the very end, they can do flashbacks of what happened, and then then we see Master Chief take on the flood, and then who knows.
I want to see like certain scenes in the show, like at the beginning of Halo 2, where he's like, permission to leave the station, I'm going to give the Covenant back their bomb, and you just see like the music and he's flying through space. I just want to see that in like TV.
It's interesting. It's like you wonder like how they're gonna do this, because like you said, like it is very tightly packed. We kind of know where Chief is at all times between Halo 1 and 3. I mean, there's like obviously you don't see him taking a shower or a shit, you know what I mean? But he's going from CE
one place to another,
and immediately after CE, he's like at the beginning of Halo 2, he's getting awarded like medals and shit, right?
He doesn't get any medals. Johnson gets medals.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Needs heroes, Chief.
At Halo 2, then you see that attack, right? And that immediately he's thrust into that action. So it could fall between that timeline between the ceremony in Halo 2 and the end of CE, or you could see like after Halo 2, between Halo 2 and 3, fill in the gaps there. But I'm trying to remember how Halo 2 ended. Wasn't he like with Gravemind?
Cortana was talking with Gravemind, and then he had to leave the planet or something earlier. Yeah. And then in Halo 3, he went back for.
Right. Yeah. So we know that's not when this is, because Cortana's left behind. Right? Yeah. And if they're together, so.
That's what I'm saying. It's between 1 and 2, not 2 and 3.
Probably so. That would be the only thing that makes sense if it's filling in the gaps. It could they could try and show some of the same stuff, but like take it off in another direction. It's interesting.
Or do a time jump.
You think like in the future and like Cortana's back?
I don't know. If I was them, I wouldn't do that, but I would at least show like flashbacks of the past.
I want to see flashbacks of the origins of Chief,
we'll definitely see that. We kind of already seen it in a teaser. Well, in a way, they show like his back and stuff, and I mean that's the current time, but I'm sure they'll at least reference the past at some point, like his time.
That's why I was thinking it was taking place before CE, and then we can hear
what helmet does he have? Let's look at his helmet.
That's a good.
Because it could
kind of has like
could
a
take
Halo,
place like
I don't know
you
when.
know, I was thinking before, and
like
then
3.
you know,
well, with Cortana
Cortana
being
comes
there,
in later, but
yeah.
it could be later in the TV show. You know, couple episodes.
Yeah, it kind of looks
that-
like a Halo 2 helmet or Halo 3 one.
Yeah.
If it's Halo,
I mean,
2,
also like Halo 1 helmet's kind of like polygonal, and it's like one
Does he
polygon.
have a
so-
117 on his?
It
Yeah.
looks like
Oh,
Halo
yeah.
3 helmet to me.
So he has a 117 on his chest.
Yep.
yeah. So that's infinite.
What the
Well,
heck? What if it's just we're all wrong and it's just infinite? But I know we're not wrong because I've seen images of the prophets. So it has to be like Halo 2 or something.
Yeah, that's a good point
knows?
too because of that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's got to be between
Because-
Halo 1 and 2.
Yeah, because after 2, some of the prophets are dead. So
I think all of them.
And then
died at the
Halo
end of
3,
2.
all of them are dead.
yeah,
I think.
I
Unless there's
can't.
some
It's hard to
hiding.
remember back.
Well, there's only 3 at a
One.
time.
I think one survived though.
Well, in Halo 3, he got wrecked by the Arbiter. So unless there's another prophet that I don't know about,
No, there's only 3 of them.
they all died.
There's one, but there's prophets before the ones we saw in the games, but there's like thousands of years ago or whatever. But
So
Well,
they're
and
like
we
the-
know that's not when this
yeah.
takes place.
yeah,
Yeah, so Halo 2,
Unless
Halo
there's
1.
unless there's a new set of freaking prophets, and this is like leading
But-
up to freaking infinite.
no, there's no new
No.
prophets because they were holding the covenant religion together or whatever, and they were like telling the lie to like keep all the aliens races
Yeah,
together.
And then they
and then-
broke apart, and then
Yeah.
Halo 4 happened.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
This
But it
this
looks good.
this we're thinking this is Cortana. Maybe it's the weapon. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that
No,
has-
the reports say it's
it-
Cortana, and they've said it's Cortana.
they could just say that to throw you off too.
Oh no, this is good. It's Cortana.
It's just like the imaginary Spider-Man
No.
punching Lizard Man.
No,
Same thing.
it's definitely Cortana. I think it's for me. It's the only thing that makes sense is between Halo 1 and 2. If you're filling in
Yeah.
gaps, and if you're not filling in gaps, then it follows along the story of Halo 2, which is my favorite time period, right?
Yeah,
And then maybe like just showing more things that happen that we don't know about, right? That when we weren't playing just that sequence.
it could be during the time that you play as the Arbiter,
Arbiter.
in Halo 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because we don't know exactly what Chief is doing at those times, right? I mean, we may know, but don't know. I know you got to go to work, Psycho. But hey, we're ending the show anyway, so
Okay.
I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining tonight, hanging out with us. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. This was a fun time. Psychonaut's got to go to work, so it's a good excuse. Hey, let's go ahead and kill this because we rambled on about this. It was a lot of fun. But hey, Psycho, where can everybody
sir.
find you, sir?
Yeah, 3-bit. Awesome to see you. You know, it's always a pleasure to have you back on FunPop. Jasper and Mav, you know, you guys are my brothers. Thank you for keeping the show going. I love FunPop. You know, unfortunately, work is. I work at night, so I gotta go. But everyone can find me social media, Psychonaut8 everywhere. YouTube channels, Gamer Chat Podcast, Gamer Chat one word. Find me here every Wednesday at 7, and Xbox Ultimate Fridays at 9 p.m. with M7. Great time. We have a lot to talk about this Friday. You all know Halo dropped. We've been having a blast. So check us out then. And thanks for coming, chat. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, man. You have fun at work, dude. Tell everybody about
Alright,
the
guys.
Invisible Spider-Man.
I will. And they will believe me.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Later.
Take it easy. So the guest who has
Well, we're like
who
up and down.
yeah,
It's
we're up
weird.
and down. Hey, the guest who has formerly abandoned the show, but I'm super happy that he's
Keeps
making
returning.
it. He keeps returning. The seed is always here for you, you know.
Mhm.
So You know, one word and your name goes back up on the thumbnail. You know, I'm just saying. You know? But hey, dude, 100%, man. Thank you for being here as always. Love your thoughts on Eternals, Shang-Chi, your wrong thoughts on Invisible Spider-Man, and also Halo, the TV show. You're absolutely awesome. 3-Bit, where can everybody find you, sir?
It's been a pleasure returning to the FunPop. Jasper, you've been killing it, man. Keep it up.
Thank you.
The show is always awesome because again, it's different. We get to actually nerd out and talk about other things besides games. I mean, we talk about games a little bit and stuff. We mix it up, but I love comic books, so getting to talk about that. So it's been awesome. I just finished my class. I was like, you know what? I'll jump on FunPop, even though I'm really tired teaching like 50 kids. Anyways, you guys can find me on Twitter. It is at i3bit. I've been really busy, so I will be returning probably when I finish. I'm quitting one of my jobs, and that will be like next week or sometime this week, I believe. And then I will be returning back to podcasting, so that'll be really nice. So you guys can pretty much find me on there at Twitter, and occasionally just on Mav streams, falling asleep, playing Halo lately. But love you all, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, dude. And Jasper the realist, who also surprisingly is on board with this whole Spider-Man nonsense. Tell us where everybody can find you, sir.
Yeah, you can check me out on Twitter at Jasper_Gaming_ and on YouTube at Jasper Gaming. And I always joke around with 3-Bit coming back on, but he knows he's always welcome here. And thanks for coming out tonight, chat.
Yeah,
that's about it, I guess.
It was awesome chat tonight. We had a lot of people here. Appreciate you all. And also, guys, don't forget, if you want to listen to this on audio, it will be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. So to any audio listeners out there that are not here and watching on YouTube or live, appreciate you as well. Thank you for watching. I want to give a shout out real quick to also the channel members, Speculators, for being channel members. Appreciate you all. So thank you to Tony Grasso, OCDgamer, Lord Ruffness, God's Geeks, Gamer by Choice, gbone 117, Liam Byrne, Wandering Dutch, InsaneCakes, Master Clown X3, Phasma, Geezer Prime, KhAos ThEory, Reign of the Third Eye, Jasper Gaming, 3-Bit, Matt Byrnes, Italian Clowns, AssassinLupa, Pong Soul, KY Bob, Micah Ford, Caper Grant, Deadwolf, Fastback, OG-NLG, Podcast, Back from Dead, and Army Veteran. Thank you all. Super appreciate you. And everybody else here, whether you're a channel member, you just sub to the channel, you share it out, you retweet it, you like it, you watch it after the fact, you don't like it, it's okay. I appreciate the view. I appreciate your time. I hope you all have a fantastic day. So, Spider-Man was not invisible. There was not. He didn't exist. Bye.
He was. Bye.
FunPop. FunPop.